Hello, my Scorpio friends, and happy birthday! This is your happy birthday reading. This is something new that I am starting, so I hope you enjoy. This is general, obviously, because there's a lot of Scorpios watching. So if you would like to have your personal either happy birthday reading or year ahead reading, please email me, or you can always contact me through my Facebook page as well. So I hope you enjoy your year ahead reading, and these are the general energies coming to you for the year ahead. Now, that being said, a year is it's a pretty long time, and you can change your own destiny. So when I place these cards here today, if there is something that you're not too happy about, that you would like to change for your own personal situation, you absolutely can. You have control of your destiny, and you can change that. So there is an ending that suits what you're looking to achieve in the year ahead. So just remember that as we move through this. So with all of that being said, I will move forward with the reading. And again, I hope you enjoy, and happy birthday. This is my way of saving you my singing skills. So I'm going to give you a reading for your birthday. All right. Okay, so we have your cards laid out. So if we look at your first card here that I pulled, now this position represents you and your current place in the world today, where you stand. So Scorpio, I pulled the Four of Wands in reverse. So in an upright position, you can see, there's a celebration, potentially an event, very social card. In a reverse position, I see that maybe, you've been focusing a lot on work lately, Scorpio, and maybe you haven't been having as much fun as you would like to be having, and you're maybe not so happy about it, and that's why it's popping out here. Again, this is general, so it could be, love, personal, business, but I am getting this very strong from this card that you are spending a lot of time working right now. And by work, I don't necessarily mean, the 9-to-5 job. It could be that you're very busy with your workaday life, right? You could be busy, getting the chores done, running errands, taking the kids here and there, helping, friends or family that are going through some tough times, and not necessarily putting your social life first. Now, in the next position, we have here your goals for the next year. And interestingly enough, I love that this card popped up in this position. We have the Four of Cups. So as you can see here, you have someone who's thinking about what they would like to do next. This is somebody who's looking at the cups before them, all of their achievements, all of their, their personal gains that they've already succeeded in. And then they're pondering, do I continue to build on what I already have? Do I look at something new? And I almost see for some of you Scorpios that you're hoping, potentially wishing, that somebody just out of the blue will bring you something new to focus on, a new endeavor, a new adventure to go on. So for some of you that may apply, and for others I think it will be you that will actually be thinking about something completely different, completely off the mark for what people may even expect of you to do, and to try something new. So it could be a new hobby. You could try to learn something new. Some of you might be going back to school. You might even be looking at switching careers or changing jobs. So this again will apply to each of you differently and resonate with each of you differently. But I do see that you're either seriously contemplating something new for your life. You want to bring in that new fresh air kind of thing, or you're really hoping that somebody out of the blue you'll bump into somebody and they'll say, hey, you know what, I never thought of you, but now that I see you, you'd be the perfect person for whatever. So I think right now that's kind of where you're sitting. You might want to have a little bit more of an exciting life, and you're thinking about some new things that you could do to get there. Now, in the next position, we have the card that empowers you. So this is your strength. And in this position, we have the Seven of Wands, which, as you can see, this individual, he's got one wand in his hand, and very determined to do so. So I think, Scorpio, for some of you, you have had some opposition in the past, and you have been victorious with that opposition. You have held the wolves at bay, so to speak. Very determined, very focused on what you want to do and what you want to achieve, what you know is right. And I think that's one of your strong suits, Scorpio, is that you always stand up for what's right. You always try to do what is right. And people know that, and they can see that in you, or this card would not have popped up. That's a very good card to pull in that position, because that speaks to your integrity, and that no matter what it is that you are offered or that you're looking at endeavoring on, you will be very strong, and people will know that to take you seriously, because this isn't a light, wishy-washy endeavor or adventure that you may potentially be embarking on, and that you would have given it serious thought to get there. Now, in the next position, we have the powers within that you need to develop. Interestingly enough, you have the King of Swords in reverse. Now, the King of Swords in an upright position is somebody who's very sure-footed, likes to take action, very quick action, doesn't always necessarily think of the emotional standpoint when they're weighing things up. It's very, calculated, very, here's the cold hard facts, here's the decision we're going to make, and here's what we're going to do, and it's done next. In a reverse position, this speaks to maybe you can be a little bit indecisive. Maybe you can be, sitting under the tree and, should I do this? Should I do that? Should I build on what I currently have? Should I start something new? So, potentially, Scorpio, that is an area that you may want to look at building on. And I think, trust your gut. Because here we're seeing that, you do make good choices. You do stand for something, whatever that may be, and that will apply differently to each of you. But you all stand for something different. And this card here is showing that, you hold your values very dear. You have a lot of integrity. You do stand up for what's right and for what you believe in. But sometimes you can be a little hesitant to actually take that action to get to that final goal. So that may be something, Scorpio, that you may want to look at developing, is just really trusting yourself and believing in yourself and the decisions that you're thinking about but don't always put into action. Because sometimes what happens is, days, weeks, months, sometimes years can go by, and these ideas are still ideas, and we haven't taken that action, and then you're thinking, well, gee, I wanted to go out and have fun, I wanted to be doing this, and now I'm doing what everybody else is wanting me to do, and this is where you end up at. So this could be, Scorpio, the year of action for you. So in the next position here, we have the card that represents your present physical, your material well-being, and this would really be what grounds you. You have the Five of Pentacles in reverse. Now, in an upright position, again, you see that you have two individuals. They're looking for shelter, potentially food. I do see that right now you are sitting in a very good place from a day-to-day situation. So this could be, this is the position of Earth and what grounds you and what surrounds you on a day-to-day basis. So I see right now, and I'm not saying, Scorpio, for all of the people that are watching, I'm not saying that you're all living the life of lavish, but I am seeing you quite comfortable and able to get by with what you have. I don't see you struggling. So that is a good base and a good foundation to build upon. And I'm not saying that, everybody out there wishes they had something more, right? Whether it's wish I had more friends, I wish I had more money, I wish I had a better job. Everybody wishes for something better. But I see you starting off this year on a very solid ground, which is really nice to see, Scorpio. In this position here, this card represents your emotional state. So it represents the water position, I guess, if you like. So here you have the Hierophant in an upright position. So here I see, and again, it's a wonderful flow of this spread, Scorpio, because here I see somebody who is emotionally unattached. And this is what I was speaking about up here. I see you starting out the year saying, this is my year. And, I want to do something different. I want to look out for what I want to do. And, Sue down the street might need help, picking up her child or what have you from school. But that actually would, if I did that, it's not that I don't want to, but that would actually interfere with what I want to do. Now, don't read that for me saying you can't help your neighbor, your friends, or your family. But it's just an example to give you a little bit of perspective on putting yourself first. So I see that, almost in a way, Scorpio, like you've had enough. You may have been burning the candle at both ends to help other people. And that's not a bad thing, Scorpio. That's not a bad feature at all to have. But sometimes people that are like that put everybody else first, and they're kind of at the back seat. And always put yourself first in some respect, because if you don't, nobody else will. And I see you starting off this year, Scorpio, from that position. I'm going to be fair. I'm going to be just. I'm really going to help where I can. I'm going to do whatever I can to help people. But I'm also going to look at the bigger picture, my bigger picture, and I'm going to make sure that I have an equal part in my life that is playing out in front of me, that I spend enough time on me to achieve what I really want to do. Now, in this position here, this card represents your spiritual state, or what you're thinking about, the air position. So it can be potentially what keeps you up at night. You have the Chariot in reverse. Now, again, reversals I don't look at as a bad thing, because reversals can tell you a different story off of the card. And reversals are not negative, they tell a different story. So here you have the Chariot in reverse. So the Chariot in an upright position, it can be a little bit of an emotional card, I will tell you that. But again, I feel that you're very grounded starting off this year and throughout the year. You may have emotional situations that come into play, but you will ride the storm. You won't let your emotions sweep you away, which is really good to see. Now, the Chariot speaks to, second chances. In a reverse position, what I'm getting off this card, Scorpio, is that you are now realizing that it is time to do what I want it to do. Because life is short, as we're all made aware of from time to time. And what if I don't get that second chance? What if I am so busy helping Sally and Sue and John that I forget about my goal, and it's 10 years down the road, and because of where I am at that point in my life, I can't achieve what I wanted to do. I can't go out and enjoy what I wanted to see come into fruition. So I think this year, Scorpio, you're starting out this year thinking, your birthday year, your solar year, thinking about this is the time to act, right? I can't delay anymore. What I know in my heart is what I truly want. Now, in the position of oppositions here, you have the Queen of Swords in reverse. Now, the Queen of Swords, again, could be male or female because this is a general reading. The Queen of Swords represents, again, and it's funny you have the King and Queen in one reading. Again, the Queen of Swords is very swift thoughts, swift thinking. In reverse, again, I see that I don't see this necessarily as a person per se. If you could read this card two ways, Scorpio. If it is a person, it is a person who is not going to give you much challenge. We will put it that. So you may have somebody who is supporting you, achieving your goals or your dreams or your next adventure in life, and supporting you, but with that same energy that's up here, that, you know, take action, get things done, right? Don't sit under the tree and think about what you want to do. Go do it. You may have a person enter your life this year who's going to actually help you have, you know, either build that mentality or will help you take action. The other way you can read this card, the Queen of Swords in reverse, is that could be you potentially in the way that you're thinking. So, like I had said up front or up here, you know, sometimes you think but you deliberate a little bit too long, weighing the pros and cons, when if you had just trusted your gut and went with what you thought was the best way forward, you would have moved more swiftly and potentially had a bigger gain. So here, this could potentially be you, Scorpio, moving swiftly, not letting the emotions get to you, because sometimes you can get swept up with the emotions, which can delay your action, right? I had a bad day at work, and because I had a bad day at work, the rest of the week just went downhill and I didn't get anything done. I see this year, Scorpio, you are not letting your emotions take over, which is, it can happen to all of us from time to time, but you are a Scorpio, so a little bit emotional, can be a little bit emotional sometimes, and sometimes things hit a little closer to home for you than some of the other signs of the zodiac. So I see this year, Scorpio, you really trying to look at things from the high level. You know, in the grand scheme of things, I had a bad day at work. How does this really affect my whole week or month ahead? And pulling yourself back, regrouping, grounding yourself, and moving forward and staying on keel and staying on target with what you want to achieve. Now, in the last position here, we have the action that is required for you to achieve your goal. Here we have the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. So the Knight of Pentacles is not a swift-moving person. This is a card of action, reverse or upright. This is a card of action. The Knight of Pentacles is generally someone who takes their time. They come in, you know, hey, how's it going? What can we do? It's more of a slower energy. So again, it's funny, Scorpio, I really see the overall message this year for you as kind of picking up your pace from an action standpoint. I think that you've had a lot of time deliberating. I think you've spent some time thinking about what path you want to take next, celebrating your accomplishments and looking for where you want to go next. Now, it's kind of funny because this seems to be, if I listen to myself as I'm talking here, this is what everybody wants to do, most people in their year ahead, those New Year's resolutions. And I'm not a big fan of New Year's resolutions because everybody's true new year starts when they ring in their new solar year. So everybody's new year is essentially different. Our calendar new year, we all celebrate together. But that year where we actually get to build on the energy that we have grown through the last year and then embark on a new journey is your solar new year, which is coming up for you. Now, if I pick, because you know me, I like my 2 bonus cards. I have some overall energy here, which is wonderful. Here we have the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. Now, the Queen of Pentacles, again, you know, she speaks to wisdom. She speaks to knowledge. She speaks to advice. So I see that there are people around you, potentially Scorpio, that have been telling you, you know, slow down, you don't need to charge ahead. And potentially they could be telling you those things for their own gain, right? You don't need to look at expanding on your learning, because you'll get new skills and you may leave my company. You know, that's an example. You don't need to go and sign up for a new course that's going to take you away, you know, 2 nights a week, because you have to pick my children up 2 nights a week or what have you. So you may have had that type of influence, and I'm not saying it's coming from a malicious place. Scorpio, that's not the message I'm getting or trying to portray in any kind of way. If anything, this is people want to keep you around because they do enjoy what you bring to the table, whether it be in a personal, a love, or a business relationship. So that's a good thing. People want you. And this card here, which is beautiful, this is the King of Cups. Now, if you look at the King of Cups, again, another very solid individual, wisdom. As you can see here, though, he's sitting in a very heavy chair on water. So this to me tells me that, Scorpio, this is going to be a fantastic year, because in reality, you can't put a heavy chair on water. It will sink. But not this guy. No. He's floating. He's sure-footed. What's next? So I see this year, Scorpio, overall, you may have challenges. You may have hurdles. But I see you may have the unthinkable hurdles coming up. But I see you rising to the challenge. I see you going through this next year ahead very sure-footed. Things may pop up that people would say, oh my dear, I don't know how they're ever going to get through it. And you are going to get through it, Scorpio. This is you right here, King of Cups. So I think that this is going to be a very positive year for you, Scorpio. I think you have done a lot of learning and growing personally in the past. And I think this is the year where you actually put all of those skills, the learning, the growth that you have done as a person into play. Put it into action. All those dusty plans, the dust is off and you are ready to roll. So again, Scorpio, I hope you enjoyed the reading. I wish you a truly happy birthday and all the best for the year ahead in your new year. Take care.